Parent Academy webinar session. Thank you for joining, and again, we are excited to have you as audience listeners and participants. I am Tina Foston Hayes, the Parent Academy Specialist for Educational Equity and Outreach for the Alachua County Public Schools, and I welcome you this evening. Tonight, we will receive some helpful information from our guest speaker, Ms. Nasika Dennis of New Worlds Reading. And just before we begin, I would like to go over a few housekeeping elements. Please keep your microphones on mute through the duration of the presentation. Please use your Q&A feature located at the bottom of your webinar window. And please note that all Parent Academy webinars are closed captioned and recorded for you to re-review or tune in again for anyone that could not join us tonight. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to email me at parentacademy@gm.sbac.edu, and we will get to those questions and any comments that you may have forwarded to the correct Alachua County Public School officials or community members. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ms. Nasika. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Tina.
Absolutely.
So good evening, everyone. As Tina mentioned, my name is Nasika Dennis, and I am one of the Family and Community Engagement Coordinators for the New World Reading Initiative. Tonight, we're going to be talking about high-value reading habits. And yeah, let's get started. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about New World's Reading Initiative. Our topic today is high-value reading habits, and at the end, we'll make some time for Q&A. But feel free to, as Tina mentioned, to use the Q&A feature throughout the presentation if you have any questions as I'm presenting. So before we begin, let's take a moment to think about our hopes and dreams for your child's or children's future. If you feel comfortable, please close your eyes for a moment. Imagine your child as a successful, healthy, and happy adult. In this vision, what are they doing? Now open your eyes and think about the personality traits your children already have that will help them feel successful now and in the future. Now, finish this sentence. My child will succeed because. If you're comfortable, please share how you finish the sentence, and you can just use the Q&A feature there to share your responses. So to begin our time together, we'll share some news about an amazing program that you may have heard about. It's called the New Worlds Reading Initiative. Let's find out more. New Worlds Reading is brought to you by the University of Florida Lastinger Center for Learning. The Lastinger Center is committed to improving the quality of teaching, learning, and caregiving. We research, develop, and scale educational products that are innovative and equity-centered. We serve both adults and children, and we are committed to creating products that put all learners on a pathway for lifelong success. New Worlds Reading is a free at-home reading program for eligible children in the state of Florida. Eligible children in VPK through 5th grade receive 9 free books and reading activities each year. The reading activities help strengthen skills and build confidence in reading. Children can choose books that match their interests. Books and resources are available in English, Spanish, Haitian Creole, and Braille. So we're going to talk about who's eligible to apply to enroll in New Worlds Reading. Children in VPK who are not yet meeting age-appropriate standards according to FAST State Early Literacy. Children attending K through 5 public or charter schools who are not yet reading on grade level. For K through 5 students, this is based on the following criteria: FAST Star Early Literacy, Fast STAR reading assessment, fast ELA reading, or Tier 2 or Tier 3 reading instruction. Here is the application process so you know what to expect when you apply. When you find the online application at New World Reading, you can find our application online at newworldreading.com. Once you apply, there will be a waiting period while the New World Reading team confirms your child's eligibility using student records. After you receive an email confirming your child is eligible, you should receive the first shipment within 6 to 8 weeks. Once enrolled, children receive free books all the way through 5th grade. Children will receive all 9 books no matter when their shipment begins. Another resource that is available is the New World Reading Scholarship Account. This is administered by Step Up for Students. They offer families access to education savings accounts worth $500 each. This can be used to pay for tuition and fees related to part-time tutoring, summer and after-school literacy programs, laptops, tablets, and more. Today, we will share a few reading habits. These habits are actions that fall into 3 categories: increasing reading motivation, increasing reading time, and improving reading skills. So let's talk about building habits that are aimed at increasing reading motivation and why this is important. We want children to feel positive about reading whenever they read. This can happen when they are reading by themselves, with you, or with others. Children who enjoy reading look forward to spending time reading, and they are motivated to read more. As parents, you can help build your child's reading motivation by making reading time more of a fun activity and less of a chore. Let's look at some ways you can do this. You can try reading funny books that make your child laugh. You might make funny voices as you read. How about exaggerating the emotions of the characters? If the character is laughing, you can laugh in a funny way. Maybe make reading time extra dramatic and give each character an extra special voice of your choosing. Whatever you do, be encouraging and supportive so your child associates reading with fun and happy emotions. Remember, the more fun you're having when you read together, the more your child will want to engage in reading with you. Another way to increase your child's reading motivation is to make reading comfortable. Let's look at some ways to do this. It may not be the first thing on your mind when you think about reading, but it is important to consider the physical environment for reading. To begin with, your child might need a stretch or some movement to transition into a reading activity. If they need it, you could make a quick stretch of movement break to become a part of the reading routine. Next, you want to find a good place to read. Let your child pick a spot where they feel comfortable. Make sure it has good lighting. Quality reading time is best achieved where there are minimal distractions. Consider silencing cell phone notifications and turning off the televisions. If there is music in the background, choose music that is not distracting and keep it at a low level. Choice is important consideration when trying to increase reading motivation. Imagine if you enjoy reading modern fiction novels, but the only options available to you are historical nonfiction books about topics that do not interest you. Would you be motivated to read, or would you opt out of reading altogether? I know for me, I would opt out of reading altogether. In the same way that In the same way that we have our preferences and like to choose what we read, it is important for children to have access to books and reading materials that are interesting to them. And notice I said materials. Reading is not limited to just books. There are many different materials that children can read and enjoy. Every kind of reading helps improve reading skills. Let's take a look at our screen for some ideas of choosing books and materials that will get your child excited about reading. If your child wants to reread a favorite book, that's okay. Ask them to choose another book to read afterwards. Try different genres of books, like comic books, graphics, novels, and books that are based on movies. If your child has a favorite character, learn if the character is featured in a book series and ask them to select the book from the series. If possible, visit your local library and help your child find their way around the children's section. If you can, explore free online libraries available from your school district or local library. There are thousands of books available for free. Finally, children can increase their reading motivation if they have some reading role models in their lives. They are more likely to engage in reading if they see that it is a fun habit that trusted adults enjoy and not just something that children are forced to do. Adults who are reading role models might share something they read about an interesting article, tell their children how much they enjoy reading with them, have family reading times when the entire family is reading and they're reading their own books, pick out books for themselves when they are at the library with their children. Children can transfer literacy skills in another language to reading and learning English. So whatever the language, just read. So we're going to switch to building habits that can help increase the amount of time your child spends reading. These are some of the benefits of increasing reading time. Children who read more are exposed to more vocabulary words. Learning vocabulary words helps to increase reading comprehension, which is the goal of reading, to be able to understand what has been read. Reading allows children to learn about new topics, get lost in adventures, and broadens their world beyond their lived experiences. Reading favorite books gives children many opportunities to practice building fluency. Fluent readers read accurately at a speed similar to conversational speaking and use a regular tone of voice. Building positive reading habits in childhood sets children up for success as lifelong readers. You might have heard it said that children should read at least 20 minutes a day. Well, here's some information that shows how spending time practicing reading skills really adds up. So let's take a look at the right column. What you see is information for a student attaining average grades who is not doing much reading at home, just 1 minute a day. Here's how this adds up. We know this child will hear 8,000 new words a year. They will have read a total of 42 hours by the end of 6th grade, and they will only score better than 10% of their classmates on standardized tests. You can see on this slide how much these minutes can add up. In the middle column, a child who is reading 5 minutes a day at home is hearing about 282,000 words per year, reading 212 hours by the end of 6th grade, and scoring better than about half of their classmates. On the left column, you'll see a child who is reading 20 minutes a day at home, and see how that compares. They will hear about 1.8 million words a year, read 851 hours by the end of 6th grade, and more importantly, We know these children are likely to score better than 90% of their classmates. I wanted to share these statistics to emphasize how important it is to spend more time reading. Every minute added to a child's daily reading time adds up over time. Next, I'll share some habits to help you get started. Creating a home library gives children easy access to books, which makes them more likely to read. You could get your books for free from the library, visit garage sales or other secondhand sources like thrift stores to get books for a much reduced price. Consider a book swap with friends or classmates. If your family exchanged presents for celebratory events, give or request books as gifts. If your child qualifies, sign up for New Worlds Reading and they'll receive a free book every month. Make books accessible to your child by keeping them in different places around the house and also the car. So we want to establish a reading time. But before we dive in, did we have any questions so far?
I don't see any yet in the Q&A feature, Miss Mystica.
All right, we'll keep going. Means
Okay.
I might be doing a good job. All right, so establish a reading time. Building a new habit takes a lot of practice, as we know. One way to establish a habit is to set a time each day to do it. You could tie your new habit to existing ones. This will help you to remember when reading time starts. Here's how. So let's think of a routine that you already practice with your child, like a bedtime routine. This might involve bathing, brushing teeth, and getting dressed for bed. You could tag reading to this routine. This way, one action follows the other, and it is easy to establish reading as part of a routine your child is already familiar with. Consider choosing books ahead of time to maximize the amount of time available for reading. This way, your child isn't spending too much time looking for books and not enough time reading. You can sneak in some extra reading. Look for opportunities to sneak in extra reading time. Reading isn't restricted to books. There are many opportunities for your child to read all around them. For example, they could read cereal boxes at breakfast time, read road signs on the way to school, and read labels all around the store. Pack a book when you are away from home so your child is ready to read at times when you encounter unexpected waiting times, at the dentist, for example. Consider this whenever a child is occupied by a game or video on a cell phone, they could be reading instead. These are missed opportunities to increase reading time. Lastly, consider replacing music with audiobooks. This is a fun way to engage in their favorite books or books that they might not be able to read yet. Audiobooks are available from your local library for free. Now we'll move on to discuss habits that are aimed at improving reading skills. These are some of the positive benefits when children's reading skills are improved. They enjoy their reading time and actively want to read. Reading time is no longer a chore. They want more time to read as they aren't struggling with fluency and are interested in digging deeper into their stories or topics that interest them. Their comprehension skills increase through exposure to different texts and increased time spent reading. And they also discover new worlds beyond their lived experiences. Vocabulary is critically important as it is linked to reading comprehension, which is the goal of reading. The more words your child knows, the more they can read. You can use this short routine to help your child increase their vocabulary and understand unfamiliar words. First, notice when your child encounters an unfamiliar word. They may skip it, struggle with it, or stop and ask for the meaning. For example, your child might struggle with the word gigantic. Explain what the word means using words your child understands. This is called providing a child-friendly definition. You can say something that is gigantic is very large in size. Use the word in a sentence that relates to the book they are reading and the part of the book where the word was encountered. Here, the word is being used within the context of the book. If your child was reading Jack and the Beanstalk, you might say, the tiny bean sprout grew into a gigantic tree. Ask your child to use the word in a sentence that is meaningful to them. If they use it in their own context, it is likely they will internalize the word and its meaning. Your child might say, a basketball player is gigantic compared to a kid like me. Don't stop there though. Practice perfection. Provide multiple opportunities throughout the day to expose your child to the word several times. Encourage your child to stop and ask about unfamiliar words when they encounter words they encounter when they read. These words will likely provide context and aid comprehension. Preview the book. Talk about the book before you read. The book might be about a topic that is new to your child. You can help them build their background knowledge about the topic. This is important for your child to understand the book as they read it. For example, if the book is about snakes, ask them what they already know about snakes and provide them with information that will help them make connections between the book and their life. You might talk about the different types of snakes that we have here in Florida and the snakes we may have seen. Ask your child if the book reminds them of any other books they've read. If yes, ask your child if they can tell you about the similarities between the two books. Making connections helps children make sense of what they are reading. This helps them build their reading comprehension. There are 3 types of text connections that children typically make when they are reading. Knowing these connections is helpful as you continue to support your child's growth as a reader. Let's explore the text connections. We have text-to-text connections, which helps your child connect what they are currently reading with what they have read before. They can then make comparisons between the 2 texts, which helps their understanding of what they read. Text-to-self connections are made when your child finds connections between what they are reading and their own lives. If your child is in 3rd grade and the main character in the book is also a 3rd grader, your child has a deeper understanding of the character, which in turn aids comprehension. Text-to-worlds connections occurs when your child connects what they read with something they are already familiar with that is happening in the world around them. They may read a book about recycling and remember watching a television show about how plastic waste in the Pacific Ocean and its impact on sea creatures. Having conversations about books with your child is interested in helps build their understanding of what they have read. They may have questions about parts of the book that they were unsure of. Having a conversation is the perfect opportunity to clarify any misconceptions. It is motivating for your child if they know that you are interested in what they are reading, almost as though you are their reading partner. And it also helps you to choose books that they will like. For these reasons and more, having natural discussions and asking questions is an important habit to build. Here are some ways you could spark discussion with your child. Talk about a character's motives and why they may behave in a certain way. Imagine together what might have happened if the setting was changed and the story took place in a different place. Have fun with it. Let your child's imagination lead the discussion. Ask your child how they would have changed the story if they were the author. It's also important to talk about nonfiction books too. You could ask your child what was the most interesting fact they learned about the topic they have just read. Also, discussions about reading isn't a one-way street. Talk to your child about what you like or dislike about a book you are currently reading too. So, what questions do you have about creating reading habits or the New Worlds Reading Initiative?
Well, I can tell you, Nasika, I don't have any questions. But for our parents that have joined us, I can say that your program is it's awesome. I have a 3-year-old myself that I signed her up. And so she receives books in the mail and she gets so excited because her name is on it. And it comes to her and she knows it's my book, and we get to read it, and she takes it around, actually around the house, for everybody to read it to her. So
I love it.
I can say it is definitely a great program, and I thank you for providing this, initiative to our Alachua County Public Schools families, because and I take advantage of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So we will see if anyone has any questions for us. And then how can they contact you if they need to, or someone from your team?
Yeah, so I thought give me 1 second to pull up our contact info.
Okay.
It's not on this presentation.
Awesome.
So the top link is to our website.
Okay.
So even if a family signs up and they found they're not eligible, all our resources are available for free. So they may not get the free books every month, but the reading activities that come along with the books are available on our website. If we have any educators on the line as well, we do have what we call teacher reading guides that can be used in the classrooms. Those are also available on our website for free. We have videos that covers a variety of topics on how to read with your students and foster a love for reading on our website as well.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And I can say that when I signed up, it was definitely really easy to go on and do. Now, it did take a little while for the books to start coming in. But I would say don't be discouraged once you do sign up, like, oh my goodness, this is not that nothing is gonna happen, or I'm not gonna get anything, but they do start coming in. And that's probably like the processing time and all of
Yeah.
that good stuff, but they definitely start to come in. So you just have to be patient with that process. So I still don't see that we have any questions. So I won't hold us here. Um, but they can definitely reach out to yourself or to the Parent Academy. If you guys have any questions regarding the initiative, of any way that Nasika and I can help you, we definitely will. So I'll go ahead and close us out for this evening. I just want to thank everyone for joining us each week, every Thursday. You can definitely join me back here for our webinars. Oh, you're definitely welcome. Thank you for joining us. So each week you are available to participate in and connect with us with more informative presentations just like this one. Again, my name is Tina Folston Hayes, the Parent Academy Specialist for Educational Equity and Outreach for the Alachua County Public Schools. And I look forward to seeing you back here next Thursday and every Thursday after that, that there is school happening. I will be here and available for you all. And so I just want to say good night and thank you so much, Miss Nasika. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Tina. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.